Shun Skywalker. Like, I don't know if he could have gone to like another height, but I feel like coming out of this, like, what a performance from the guy. Like, we wanted, like, yes, this is Diamante's match, but it was all facilitated by Shun Skywalker.
I'm almost out of words to say about this guy. I think we are really witnessing something great with Shun, and it is not this character or this year. It is a career of greatness, and I briefly want to just go through the timeline of Skywalker's career, just in case, maybe, if this is somebody's first cage match, first Dragon Gate show, first time watching Shun Skywalker, whatever. This is a guy who debuted in 2016. Shun Watanabe didn't have a mask, didn't have anything. November of 2016, takes on the Shun Skywalker character, and certainly creates a lot of buzz, because in the ever polished and pretty Dragon Gate world, Shun Skywalker did not look like that. He looked like an abomination in not only his first ring outfit, but many of the ones that followed. He looked like a guy that was out of Michinoku Pro in 1994, and that was both a good thing and a bad thing.
Case, just provide some clarity on this for new people. So his color was green, but they did not get his first gear all in one color of green. Like, his gloves were one color, his mask was another, his bodysuit was another. It was a hot mess, and it stayed that way basically until Mochizuki Dojo came about.
Yeah, so that happens at the end of 2016. If you watch Shun in 2017 and really for the first half of 2018, I picked up on this in the moment, and I was so fascinated by it when it happened. Basically, Shun on these pay-per-views would be in the opening match of every one. It would be an 8-man tag with the young guys versus whoever. They would all do their spots. They would do a dive train. They would all clear the ring. And then Shun Skywalker, time after time after time again, was able to hit a beautiful top rope moonsault to the floor. That was his thing. That was the thing he did well. There were a lot of holes in Shun's game, but this was a guy that could very easily do his thing and do it well, and that thing was the moonsault. So for the first year and a half of his career proper, he's just the springboard moonsault guy. He slowly starts to develop a bit more of an in-ring presence. We see the bicycle kick come into play. We see, this guy's kind of charismatic, interesting. He does, the first real big break for him is he and Mochizuki do the All Japan Junior Tag League in 2018, and notably, they have the match. It's those two against Shuji Kondo, and I think he was still teaming with Kaz Hayashi at that point. Blow-away match. It's Mochizuki versus Kondo for the first time in 14 years. It's Skywalker versus Kondo for the first time ever. They go out there. They absolutely destroy. They come back. There's a Twin Gate match. It's BB Hulk and Yamato versus Shun and Mochizuki. It's one of the best Twin Gate matches of all time. And all of a sudden, it's like, Shun Skywalker's not just the flippy guy. Like, there's something here. And our thought was maybe they have their next Brave Gate champion. So we go into 2019. You and I have done a retrospective on this since. We obviously talked about it a lot in the moment. The rookie ranking tournament and in the beginning of 2019, Dragon Gate had 7 rookies, put him in a tournament. Shun Skywalker wins. He beats Kaito Ishida in the finals in January. He beats Ben K in February when no one was beating Ben K. And then he goes on and he wrestles Pac for the Dream Gate belt in 2019. That match, by the way, the biggest crowd in Osaka number 2 in Dragon Gate post OWE split to this day. All of a sudden, it's like, holy shit, Shun's like a guy. He's kind of in the same position that Strong Machine J is in right now. He goes out there, has a great May, leaves Mochizuki Dojo, has the killer match with KZ at Kobe World that year, which I think really brought a lot of eyeballs on him. 2019, the end of that year, he's aligned with Ben K, who was the Dream Gate champion. Probably the least satisfying era of his career, because they had a lot of big matches that weren't necessarily great. They were just kind of good. And then 2020, he goes off to Mexico, comes back and wins the Dream Gate belt, and from there you have the 2 definitive eras. You have Masquerade Shun Skywalker, who kicked ass as a babyface, had all these great multi-man tags, really put the company on his back in 2021. And then you have Zebrat Shun Skywalker, and for the last year and a half, he's been the most compelling character in wrestling. I think a lot of people would point to an MJF for that award, but Shun hasn't had a dud like Double or Nothing 2023. He's been consistently great this entire time, and it's just becoming a reoccurring theme in his career. Wherever Shun Skywalker goes, greatness follows.
Yeah, and it's something that with him, the big thing was in 2019 was like, oh, he does not really have a character. And he came back from Excursion as this very stoic baby face, just like wanting to form Dragon Gate around his image. And he, from there, like was known for like being a bad charisma guy until December 2011 or 2021. And ever since then, I mean, I think like comparing it to MJF is almost not fair to MJF. I think that it is something that where Shun Skywalker has evolved over his heel turn since 2022. MJF has been a very static character, and to me that was something that is very, very clear about MJF is that there's like the same things, whereas Shun Skywalker innovates, and I feel like took it to the next level in this cage match, basically doing like it was like not only a stab in the back in 2021 when he shoved Dragon Dia in front of Diamante loses mask. That was a stab in the back. This time, this was not just like a stab in the front. It was like we are just going to completely destroy you. And
he stabbed him in the eye socket, basically.
Yeah, he did, and that's not also to mention like what happened to Diamante, like injuring Diamante and all of that. It's just, I think he is one of the most dynamic characters in all of pro wrestling, and I'm really excited to see where he goes after this, and especially with the fact that he's going to be doing another U.S. tour in September. Like, it'll be interesting to see like how they get to that and what he does coming back from it.
So I bring up the timeline of Skywalker's career just to kind of put into perspective, like, hey, yes, he's young, but he's not new. This is a guy who's now 7 years pro. 7 years is a very long time. Obviously 2016 feels like forever ago. And I started thinking about Shun historically and where he fits in the lineage of the Dragon system. And I came up with 3 tiers of wrestlers, and I want to know where you would put Shun, in which group you would put him in, or if you would put him below the 3rd tier. So are you ready for these groups? And I'll read all of them to you, and then you can kind of tell me where you think he lands, okay?
Okay.
Tier 1, this is Dragon System historical greatness. Shima, Shingo, Yamato, Masato Yoshino, Masaki Mochizuki. Tier 2, Susumu Mochizuki, Milano Collection AT, Dragon Kid, Naruki Doi, and Eita. Tier 3, Genki Horiguchi, Akira Tozawa, Ben K, BB Hulk, KZ. If you're slotting Shun Skywalker historically, which of those tiers, which of those 5-headed dragons, I want to say it's Mount Rushmore, but there's 5 guys, not 4, where are you placing him at this exact moment, coming off of this cage match and that performance?
Well, first off, I have to aggressively refute Akira Tozawa being in the 3rd tier. How dare you? But
with separate conversation. We'll circle back to that next week.
Yeah. Just get my pitchfork ready, man. Come on. I think with the way you looked at it, he's already in that 2nd tier, and the only thing that stops people from putting him into that tier is that we're talking about 7 years, not 25.
Give him a year. I think he might end up by that point having a definitively better, more prosperous, more successful Dragon Gate career than Eita. And Eita's done it all. Look, not a wrestler I love. I've spent a lot of time talking about that, but Eita's undeniably, a core of Dragon Gate. You can't tell the story of this promotion without talking about Eita in his various incarnations. We've hit that point with Shun Skywalker where there's now multiple phases of Shun's career that really matter historically, none more than what he's done as a heel, which has just been next level brilliant stuff.
And let's put it this way when we talk just one-to-one about Eita. Eita achieved that, but he should have been 1st tier. Like that.
Yes, he's a lottery pick that was an all-star but not a Hall of Famer, and that will forever be a black mark on his legacy.
Yeah, like that's the thing is, like, if you really want to like boil it down, so with Eita, you're talking about 12 years, really, 12 years. And how many of those years can we say are complete washes?
Oh, God. Well, okay, so 12 years ago was 2011, so he's irrelevant in 11 and 12. He's good 13, 14, 15, irrelevant, or at least not enjoyable 16, 17. I don't like his 2018 at all because I wasn't into the Dragon Kid feud. So we're like four of those years historically. I'm just not into what Eito was doing whatsoever.
That's a third of his Dragon Gate career.
And that's not including the last year, which has been a confusing mess.
Right. Whereas you compare and contrast that with Skywalker, he had maybe the Shun Watanabe phase into the bad mask phase. But by the time Mochizuki Dojo was rolling in 2017, he was already off to the races.
Well, and even that stuff, you're talking about a young boy and then a guy who was talented but just had a bad look. And, you can't I'm not going to hold that against him. The blemish on his career is that late 2019 stuff with him and Ben K, because they got a lot of big matches and none of them really hit the way that you thought they would. Like there was Shun and Ben versus Speed Muscle. That is a match that you and I should remember spots from it. We should remember that show. We should remember the star rating. And it just wasn't that. That's really the blemish on his career is, hey, this guy had about 4 or 5 matches that should have been great that were merely good.